All I need is one mic. All I need is one mic. Listen, me and the microphone, this is babe. Hey you, have you joined the Jazzie crew? All you have to do is log on and subscribe via Spotify, Apple, Google, or Podcast Addict. You are going to subscribe to Jazzie Conversations with Jazz, the podcast that celebrates one common thing, the comeback story. Hey you, have you subscribed to my Jazzie Conversations with Jazz podcast? Listen, all you have to do is log on to Spotify, Apple, Google, or Podcast Addict and hit subscribe to the Jazzie Conversations with Jazz podcast. I can't wait for you to be a part of the Jazzie crew. So with the MCing part, a bona fide host, right? And I didn't just give myself this title. I have a degree in broadcast journalism from Florida A&M University. So I have a 4-year degree in journalism, which covers, your writing, it covers audio, it covers your video, your visuals, and your audio. And so this is a passion of mine. So when I call myself a host, I mean it. When I say all I need is one mic, it is true. All I need is one microphone, and I'm going to turn your event, I'm going to turn whatever it is that my voice touches into gold. So when we talk about this MCing part, I don't spin records, I'm not a DJ. However, I can get you a great soundtrack, but when we say MCing, I am talking about everything hosting, and you need a great host for your event. So it is very important that you get a host who knows what they're doing. So that will be me. I absolutely love to host, and I love to entertain the crowd. So the podcast is actually a brainchild of mine that I had as an assistant principal. And as an assistant principal, my passion was the students in the lowest quartile. And so I always called them my comeback kids. And so I started in 2016, I started a Comeback Kid initiative with the slogan that every student deserves a comeback story. And so you think about a comeback story is you coming back or you achieving something that you struggled with. So that was a brainchild of this whole comeback slogan. And so I just took it and I ran with it and I said, we're all making comebacks in our lives on a daily basis. Everyone can tell you something that they've had to overcome. You've had to persevere through it, right? So that was the premise behind Jazzie Conversations with Jazz. Jazzie Conversations with Jazz is a podcast that is a series of candid conversations with a myriad of people, and they all share a common thread, and that common thread is a comeback story. So in order to be on my podcast, all you have to do is have an excellent comeback story, because I want people to grow from my podcast. And you can contact me at 863-205-1603. You can email me at jasmar1050@gmail.com. You can connect with me on social media via IG, Facebook, and YouTube, Jazzie Conversations with Jazz. Jazzie Conversations was birthed out of a definite comeback. I lost my father in 2020, on November 1st of 2020. And I turned 42 this year, October 24th. And so as an ode to him and as an ode to myself, I looked at my life and I said, look, we only have one life. And our life is to be lived. So I started doing a list of the things that I said I wanted to do. And podcasting, radio was at the top of that list. And so what I said is that my father worked so hard. He sent me to all types of NABJ conferences, and that's the National Association of Black Journalists. He sent me to so many of those conferences, and I met a lot of people. I had a lot of connections, and so I said, you know what? My father knew that this was a passion of mine, and I've coined myself mother, educator, host. I've done things, and I'm a mother, of course, a mother of two, 13-year-old and a 7-year-old. I'm an educator. Have been in school administration, so that educator part is there. Now, I'm bringing you full circle to the hosting part. And so as a dedication to him, I said, I'm not gonna make any more excuses. And so on November 1st, to honor his life, I started my podcast. And so I hadn't been in contact with MCN Studios, Jason Magnetico, who is a classmate. When you're coming from a small town, that we all know each other. And so I tapped back into him because we've had conversations, and I said, yo, Jason, are you serious about what you're doing with, with your studio? And so the timing was just there. I think it was a God thing. I know it was a God thing, and I cannot wait for this podcast to grow. I'm starting to do advertising. If you would want to advertise your business on the podcast, again, that number to call is 863-205-1603. I can get you a pre-roll ad, which would be at the top of the show. I can get you a mid-roll ad, which is in the middle of the show. And I can get you a post ad, which is your advertisement at the end of the show. If you want to be a friend of the show and you simply want to do a donation to the Jazzie Conversation with Jazz because you believe in me that much, and I hope that you do, because we're going to be rocking, we're going to be rolling, you can actually Zelle me, 863-205-1603. You can Cash App me, $Ben or you can just directly contact me. Again, that number to call is 863-205-1603. Did you remember how to contact me via social media? If not, I got you. So I am on IG, I'm on Facebook, and I am on YouTube. Jazzie Conversations with Jazz.